pretty roses. Alright, we're heading out right now to do a little bit of plein air painting at Winslow State Park on beautiful Mount Kearsarge in New Hampshire. We've had a lot of rain recently, but thankfully today it is beautiful, upper 70s, so it should be absolutely perfect. The only risk really is sunburn, so, you know, but that's okay. I'm happy to be getting out and doing this, so let's get going so we can get there on time. And we're here! I like this tree. Just scoping around right now, checking out different spots in the park. There's a hiking trail here, but it's not too close to the parking lot, so my students probably won't be able to come out here, so I really can't either, but a lot of beauty. There's a summit to hike to off of the park, that way. I don't know, I'm gonna find something more nearby, but this would definitely be cool to explore at a later time. So the composition I settled on is this nice tree with the shadows underneath it and a little bit of the sky peeking through and some trees in the background. I'm going to keep it very, very simple. So I just sketched the main subject, a little placeholder for the tree in the back, horizon line, little squiggly lines for the trees in the background. My mini sketchbook setup. I love this because it's so dang portable. Pick up and walk with this if I wanted to. Right now I'm just sitting on a nice rock. Here's our initial block in. That's about it for this one. Didn't do too bad. I did eventually have to go and get my camp chair because this rock I was sitting on was very uncomfortable. But it turned out okay. Weather was good, a lot of wind, a lot of bugs, but the weather was good, so that was nice. Alright, we'll call this a successful outing. Let's pack up and get out of here. Bye, Mount Kearsarge, Winslow State Park. Going downhill. People that live here are quite lucky. Imagine living on a mountain like this. These houses are big too. Bet they're expensive. Okay everybody, we are back here in the studio and this is what I came home with. Not my favorite plein air piece so far this season. I'm only a few in, but I definitely want to do more of this and, you know, maybe kind of up my caliber a little bit. Not awful, at least not for working on it for maybe an hour. The problem was that there was a lot of haze up on Mount Kearsarge from the fires in Canada because we're not too far from the Canadian border. And unfortunately that affected the view a lot and a lot of the things that would otherwise be paintable. And last time I was there was a couple of years ago, and some of the views have since been blocked by some overgrowth, you know, some trees that weren't there before. So I was kind of disappointed to find that there was less to paint than I remembered. And again, I could only stay within a certain proximity of where we entered around the parking lot because a lot of my students are older, so when I'm with them, I have to be mindful of their mobility and, you know, their ability to get to and from places safely and easily. I'll show you just a couple of other pieces I had from previous outings here. So this was actually me painting one of my students' painting. She didn't know that I was painting it until like it was almost finished. That was a lovely day at Winslow State Park. They have a very pretty beach. Lots and lots of things to paint there. And my most recent is this piece. This is a trellis in a garden with some pink flowers in front of it. I don't mind how this one came out too much, but it was kind of a complicated subject, and getting the lighting and everything to communicate correctly. I don't know if I captured it, but I've never painted this kind of thing before, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of neat. It kind of has this like sort of secret garden, you know, very pretty kind of peaceful feel. But it was really, really hot that day and we were all dying. I actually got a migraine from the heat, which is unfortunate. I am very sensitive to the heat, so not only my students, but I myself have to be careful as to how long I spend out in, you know, very high temperatures, especially exceeding 80 degrees. So I gotta be a little bit more careful going forward. But I'm gonna keep doing these outings throughout the summer, and I'm going to keep trying to capture a video of them. If you're interested in that, there will be a lot more of that content coming, both in oil and watercolor, but most of what I record will probably be watercolor because it's a little bit easier and a little more lightweight. If you are curious as to details on my portable setups, you know, my Perched box, my watercolor kits, you know, my sketchbooks, things like that, let me know and I can do a more detailed video on that, but you will see them periodically appear in some of my videos. Art and travel style vlogs like this one, occasional painting time lapses, or long format how-tos and paint-alongs, sometimes product reviews. So if you're into that sort of thing, you know, maybe stick with me. I will get better at this whole video making thing. I have done most of what I've done in my art career in person, in galleries and in-person workshops, and, you know, hand-to-hand art sales. So I don't have as much experience in the online / video making aspect, but I want to do a lot more of it. I know that I love watching this kind of content from other artists, so I'm hoping that maybe there will be somebody that enjoys watching what I make, especially as I get a little bit more streamlined and professional with it. Alright, thank you everybody who stuck around to the end. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed and would like to see more. Alright, stay beautiful everybody, keep making beautiful art, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!